Alright everyone, so let me start this off by saying I retract the statement I made in yesterday's or the day before's video. I said that it was going to do bad view-wise, and it ended up getting over 4,000 views, so thank you guys so much for that. I take that statement away from that video and place it onto this one. This is definitely the video I believe is going to do pretty bad, but that's okay because this is really just me wanting to sit down and express some concerns I had about the New Orleans Saints last season and some things that I hope they fix moving into the 2020 season because I don't want to see these mistakes made again. They're exactly what kept us out of being in the Super Bowl tomorrow, and it is what it is. These problems are problems that need to be fixed. So before I start it, I would like to say thank you guys again so much for the support. If you would like to, my Patreon is in the description. If you could, donate a couple bucks to keep the channel moving during the off season. If you don't, that's okay. But I think we're up to 5 Patreons now. I gotta go look at the list and give everyone their Patreon shout outs. So thank you guys so much for donating. It means the world to me. So this is going to be a new series that I'm doing on this channel during the month of February. This will be a very high maintenance series in February until we move into March and focus on free agency, because a lot of free agency stuff happens in March and then we have to draft in April. So there are a lot of things that we can look at and talk about in these next couple of months. But this main problem is something that handicapped us all season. So episode 1 of the things the New Orleans Saints have to fix moving into 2020 is the rushing attack. Alvin Kamara and Latavius Murray, using them and utilizing them to their full potential, because that is something we definitely didn't do last year. So the 2018 New Orleans Saints are, plastered as one of the best, most balanced Saints teams of all times in a lot of Saints fans' eyes, and for good reason. One of the reasons that is, a conversation to be had. The 2018 New Orleans Saints had 2,025 rushing yards and 26 rushing touchdowns. 26 rushing touchdowns is a huge deal, especially when you do it among a 2 running back committee. It was definitely something that propelled us to the NFC Championship game and what should have been further. The 2019 New Orleans Saints, though, experienced a huge decline with only 1,738 rushing yards and 12 rushing touchdowns. That is a huge decline to what we've seen in 2018. And in 2018, Mark Ingram was suspended for the first 5 games of the season, or first 3-4 games of the season, whichever it was. So it's even more impressive that this team somehow managed to get 14 less touchdowns, having AK-41 and Latavius Murray in throughout the entirety of the season, except for 2 games which Alvin Kamara missed with his injury. So that's near a 300-yard decline, 14 touchdown decline. That is absolutely insane. A big problem with this was Alvin Kamara in 2018 had a very great season. 883 rushing yards, 64 first downs picked up on the ground, 14 rushing touchdowns, and 4 receiving touchdowns. Alvin Kamara in 2019 had 797 rushing yards, which was a good number. Nothing too steep of a decline from the season prior, so definitely something that's acceptable in the eyes of most fans. But he only picked up 32 first downs, which is 32 less than last season's prior. 5 rushing touchdowns, which is a 9 touchdown decrease, and 1 receiving touchdown, which is a 3 touchdown decrease. So he played a huge role in this offense not being the exact powerhouse it was in 2018, and it's not entirely his fault. He was dealing with injury for a majority of the season, had a tweaked ankle, and it just kind of never felt the exact same. And it's not necessarily just because he was ineffective. It wasn't that Latavius Murray was ineffective. Sean Payton was a big problem in the fact that our rushing game wasn't as good as it used to be. Latavius Murray had 2 breakout games against Arizona and Chicago, yet Sean Payton refused to let him produce after that. It seemed like every time Latavius would get on the field, he ran for a big gain or made some type of play, dragging defenders a couple of yards before finally going down. Latavius Murray needs to be implemented into the offseason, or into the offense more next season. We signed him to a 4-year deal, so giving this dude some opportunities is definitely going to be a big push-up if we want to win the Super Bowl. Latavius Murray is a very good running back, a serviceable one, someone who could have benefited this team more, yes, more than Mark Ingram did on the field. Chemistry-wise, I'm not too sure about that, but on the field, he could have done just as much or even more than Mark Ingram did if he was given the opportunity. Despite battling injury all year, Alvin Kamara repeatedly got thrown into ridiculous island situations by Sean Payton. Sean refused to utilize the fact that Alvin Kamara is actually a great in-between-the-tackles runner and forced plays where Alvin's name was called to bounce to the outside, which after seeing that for 3 years in a row, got pretty easy to sniff out by defenses. The Saints are like 23-1 or something ridiculous when Alvin Kamara has 20 plus touches, yet we refuse to do that this season. Absolutely ridiculous. The play calling for our run offense was generic and ineffective. I'm telling you guys right now, we as Saints fans have been preaching this, and we're preaching this all season long. All season long. We were saying it repeatedly. Run the ball. Don't be scared to run the ball. There were multiple scenarios in which Sean Payton ran a couple of times, didn't get an 80-yard touchdown off of it, so completely abandoned the run, including our playoff loss. 2 examples I'll give you right off the top of my head. Against Atlanta in a blowout loss, we ran the ball 9 times, 4 for Kamara and 5 for Latavius Murray. 9 times we ran the ball 9 times and wonder why we lost 26-9. Against Minnesota in the playoffs, we ran 12 times, 7 for Alvin Kamara and 5 for Latavius Murray. That is not how you win games. You win games by controlling the time of possession. You control the time of possession by running the ball, tiring out the defense, and being able to, make them respect the run game. So they have to bring a couple of guys down, maybe you have a linebacker spy a little bit, and then you hit them over the top. But of course, this season we didn't do that. And it's absolutely disappointing knowing that this season could have been so much longer if Sean Payton just ran the ball. That's all we needed. But anyway, let's not sit here and mope about what could have been, and let's talk about what needs to happen. We have way too much talent on this offense to be bottlenecked by Sean Payton. Now, I'm not saying that Sean Payton can't produce a high-powered offense, because he can. But he is extremely pass-happy, and when you have a 41-year-old QB, being pass-happy isn't really the greatest idea. Drew Brees is still extremely effective, but he only has 2 viable weapons in the receiving game, one being his number 1 receiver, Michael Thomas, and the other being Jared Cook. So forcing him to throw the ball every single play isn't going to work for much longer. We need to run the ball. We have 2 extremely good assets to do it. Why don't we? I don't criticize him too much, but the balanced attack of 2017 and 2018 were the reason we went as far as we did. Being able to run the ball down people's throats, yet still hit them with a surprise pass every now and then was definitely something that we missed this season. Latavius Murray, I don't care what you guys say, oh, it's because we're missing Mark Ingram. Latavius Murray is an extremely good power back. When you watched him, he ran, picked up 5-6 yards minimum. He was absolutely fantastic in the games which he got opportunities. But as we all know, that didn't happen as often. We forced ourselves to beat teams with Brees only, and that resulted in some losses, one being in the playoffs. Run the ball. That's all I ask, is that you run the ball, Sean. So, yeah, that's really it for this video. I just kind of wanted to highlight one of the main problems I had with the 2019 season, and with no doubt in my mind, that was the inability to run the ball effectively and tire out defenses and extend drives and pick up, first downs on the ground. It was great seeing Drew Brees be able to have a personal best season in the past couple of years and break some records, but man, I miss seeing AK-41 do the things that he, did in years past. Latavius Murray could have done so much more for us. You have these guys on the team next season. I know Alvin Kamara, on First Take, hinted at a possible contract negotiation going on right now with him and the New Orleans Saints. So I know he's going to be around for a while. Utilize the players you have until you do not have them anymore, because if you don't, you will regret it every day the minute they step off the field. We have seen this multiple times. Just utilize your players, Sean. That's all I ask. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, let me know down in the comment section below. I will be posting a video every other day. If I miss a day, it'll restart at every other day after that day. That is the off-season schedule. There's no set days. It's just every other day. I'm sorry I can't do daily videos because it's literally going to be physically impossible. That's like 250 videos until next season starts. I can't do that. Every other day and maybe some, breaks here and then is definitely the way that I'm going to be able to produce videos at a high volume output while still putting effort and thought into them. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching yet again, and I'll see you boys in the next one. Adios.
Ballin' like Barkley, wrist so sparkly, internet surfing, feel like iCarly.